to the JLash Show, where the debates are loud, the takes are hot, and the sports world never sleeps. I am your host, Jackson Lasher, and let's hop into March Madness because it has been so far an insane day so far already. There was almost an upset with Duke and Siena. Can you all believe that? 65-71. Like, Duke was down late, and I was really shocked to see that they even pulled it down and won, because I was literally expecting them to totally flop and lose and whatever. Duke having the number 1 seed, they should have won triumphantly in this one, especially against a 23-2 16th seed Siena Saints basketball team that probably snuck into the March Madness team. But really, Duke should have won this. They really should have won this at a bigger score. 65-71. That's a little bit non-reassuring in my opinion, because really anything could happen now. Like, there's a very good chance that they will not be winning the championship unless they kind of get their heads together and they really kind of think about what they are doing. I don't see them winning the championship this year. Some people have another team winning, like Arizona and stuff. Like, some people have them winning. That's who I have winning in my bracket. But really, Cam Boozer pretty much he didn't carry the entire team, but he did very, very well. He had 22 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, he's a very good and talented player. But really, against the upset, if we look here, against Gavin Doughty, and they did lose, unfortunately, but he had 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And I think that they played really good to start out with, but they played a little bit too hard, in my opinion, because if they played how they were playing, if they could have kept the tempo and they could have kept doing what they were doing, kept the offense going, kept the defense going, I totally think that they would have been able to I actually think they would have been able to win against this powerful Duke team. And I know that might sound like a little bit of a hot take, but really, if they really kept going with the tempo here, I totally think that they would have won. But really, I mean, he scored 21 points, and they gave him a lead with 61-56 left in the game. So of course Duke was down late. They were like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do now?" So like they kind of had to spring into action here, and they were like, "What do we do now?" So they and I know they have a lot of good players because Duke is a very good basketball team, for what I know. But really, I expect a little bit more from Duke coming as a 1 seed and a 33-2. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot, but like they should at least be beating them by like 20 points against a 16 seed. They should have blown them out of the water. And yet, here we are having a 6-point lead as a win for Duke. Powerful Duke basketball team, mind you. This is not good news for them heading in later in the tournament. Like, that's a little bit scary in my opinion. Like, they should fear that other teams that are in there. Like, really, like, y'all shouldn't be losing by or winning by 6 against the 16 seed, 23-12 Siena Saints team, by the way. Like, you should be able to absolutely handle them. They weren't able to do that. They kind of failed at their mission there to kind of really, to win successful. And that, to me, I would give the Duke performance, I would say probably a C at best to probably around a C-, because they weren't really charged to win. If they're charged to win the next game that they play, I totally think that they will win it. And they just got to prove it with their offense and defense. They proved it with their offense, of course, because they won, but they really have to have strong defense and offense to propel them especially against higher seeds than them, you know? And it's only going to get harder from here. That's that's for real. Like, that's, yeah. But really, it was an incredible game. And let's talk about another upset against number 12 High Point Panthers against the number 5 Wisconsin Badgers. Can we believe that? Like, wow. 12 seed, by the way. 12 seed. That was, in my opinion, a big upset, in my opinion. And if we look at the stats here, Nick Boyd, who scored about 27 points this game with Wisconsin, still lost against the High Point's Rob Martin. And he scored 27 points. Like, really? High Point's a good team. They're 31-4, and Wisconsin's 24-11. But really, I honestly, if you think logically about it, I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening because they have High Point has a lower loss than Wisconsin, of course, but again, High Point has a higher seed. So people, of course, while picking their brackets most likely, probably picked Wisconsin to win instead of High Point. But you have to look at what this team is about, like offense and defensively, and see how they've been doing the last few games for the season. And I totally think that they've been doing very well. Like, it really does look like it. Like, I don't see anything bad about them, in my opinion. Like, if you're analyzing this team, I would think that they are a very solid offensive and defensive team all around, and they have a very good coaching staff. But really, I think that their offense really has gotten them places this season, from what it looks like. Like, it wasn't a blow out of the water win. It was more of like a lucky win, in my opinion. But they were, again, I'm just very impressed. My opinion is that of how they have so many wins is they are in the NCAA Division I Big South, which they won 15 out of their 16 in there. And they have an overall record of 31-4. So they have been doing they are one of the top in the Big South, besides Winthrop, who was 13-3. And then you had Radford at 9-7, so it was a little bit of a drop off there. But High Point, I think, is one of the best teams in the Big South, in my opinion. But really, that's a very, very impressive stuff coming from a 12 seed and a 5 seed. I think those were the two biggest games, in my opinion. A huge, huge upset. And don't forget TCU and Ohio State. Ohio State University. That came down to the wire, guys. Wow. TCU won by 2. I didn't really expect them to lose, but I didn't expect them to really win either. I kind of thought it was going to be like 50-50. It was kind of a 50-50 shot of whoever won because the seeds were around the same place. But really, Ohio State probably should have won that, really. But really, I'm not really worried about it because I think some people picked TCU to be in their bracket. So I think that helped some people while that kind of crumbled some people's brackets. But really, I think that it's a very good thing that TCU has won. I think they were the 9 seed and Ohio State was the 8 seed, I believe. But really, it's crazy stuff coming from a college football team, in my opinion. And this is one of the biggest events all year. March Madness, NCAA men. Wow. So this is probably the most electrifying stuff you will probably ever see in a college basketball game. These games are going to come down to the wire, in my opinion. As we get further into the competition, I totally think that it is going to be coming down to the wire a little bit more often. But yeah, really, March Madness so far is very electrifying. There's still games going on as I'm talking about this. But so we are moving on to our weather segment, finally. So now I'm sending you to the weather segment. Stay tuned. Hello and everybody, welcome to the JLash Show Weather Center. I am your chief meteorologist, Jackson Lasher, and as I am speaking right now, the sun still hasn't set, guys. We are at a 7:11 p.m. sunset currently, now increasing probably around 2 to 3 minutes per day. Thankfully, it's not. We're pretty much out of the dark and cold days of winter, which, thank God, those were miserable days. Like they were just cold, dark. I don't even want to talk about it. Spring, it's right around the corner, guys. 2 days, guys. We made it. Starts Saturday at I don't know what time, but it starts sometime Saturday. Thank goodness. Spring will last for around a few months until June. June 20th is when the summer solstice is going to be. So that's really around the plan. Tomorrow, it looks to be raining with a 70% chance of rain with a high of 63. And it looks like it is going to warm up over the next few days, eventually going to a peak on Sunday of a high of 68 with a cloudy day. So that would probably be a good day to get outside, in my opinion. But today, so far, partly cloudy, and I would definitely get outside. You just have to bundle up a little bit. But otherwise, it would be a very, very, very good day to get outside. But really, get outside. That's the main thing. Bundle up. And it looks like there's some snow coming this following Friday. 50% chance, but it is definitely not certain as it is a high of 51 degrees. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. As the time comes, we'll discuss it a little bit more. So now moving on to our Winter Storm HQ. Not much going on. Thank goodness all the snow went away. We had a lot of snow this winter. Not normally a normal amount of snow. The first round of snow, Winter Storm Fern, I believe was the name, brought around a foot of snow here in the Hapro region, and then an inch of like ice on top. So it was miserable shoveling. The second one was definitely around like 9 inches, right around 9 inches, and then no ice. So it was not such a pain shoveling. But we are now out of the winter storm season. I will let you guys know about when hurricane season starts up in a few months. So stay tuned. Now back to the JLash Show. Welcome back from the JLash Show Weather Report. So now moving on to the next part, which is the Philadelphia Phillies. Probably one of the best news you could probably talk about yet, because spring training is almost over, and real season is in like less than a week away at this point. Like really, that time flies. Goodness, I thought spring training was just like it just started, in my opinion. Like really, gosh, it really does fly. But really, the Phillies, which they lost in the playoffs last year, that was just awful. They really shouldn't have lost. They lost, I believe, in the wild card, so they needed some work. And they kind of put in the work, and they I don't believe they signed much of anyone new, but they're bringing some people up from the minor leagues. Kyle Schwarber is staying on the team. Bryce Harper is staying on the team. Trey Turner staying on the team. It was just JT Realmuto's birthday, which he is the catcher, which I think we brought him back, so happy birthday to him. Thank goodness he's staying, because he is one of the best catchers in baseball whenever he is healthy. But really, we need to lock in because we have a 10-14 record. We need to get some work done. But it's totally fine. It's spring training, so they probably weren't working their players too hard, as really it's not the regular season. And the USA just lost to Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic final, which was very unfortunate. Bryce didn't really come through until he put the U.S. on top, I think in the 8th inning with a 2-run home run, which what I've noticed about Bryce is that he doesn't come through until a clutch moment is happening. Like as you saw in the NLCS against the San Diego Padres back in 2022, he sent the Phillies up by I think 1 or 2 points to win them the game, and that was one of the most clutch moments probably in Phillies history and in the franchise history, in my opinion. Really, it's amazing what they can do. Honestly, what he can do, but really, there's not much else to talk about. Really, but what there is to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles, since they have lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs last season. At first, I didn't think they were signing anyone. They were just letting a lot of people go. So I think they signed Dallas Goedert back, thank God, but they let Jalen Phillips go. I think he signed with Carolina, and then they let a few more people go. But that's very unfortunate. We signed Taquan Graham to a contract March 2nd. And then we signed Rick Woolen to a contract March 12th. So we're starting to get some action here. And then signed Johnny Mutt to a contract on March 13th. And then Arnold Abitge to a contract March 16th. And then Damian Pierce just today to a 1-year contract. So I hopefully it's on the up and up for the Birds. Vic Fangio isn't leaving his defensive coach spot. So hopefully, the Birds can do. Hopefully they can do better, because what they did, it was kind of a disgrace last year of how they played. But really, I hope they can play better. So now we are moving on to JLash or Trash. Welcome to JLash or Trash, one of the segments I have not done in a while, which it feels good to be back. So now JLash or Trash, if you don't know, is a little bit of a debate thing with me. And one of the debate things is that Duke is most likely not going to get into the championships this year, like Final Four. Absolutely true. Because if you looked at them today and you looked at how they played, I don't think that they're going to make it past probably more of the second or third round, in my opinion. Unless they get their head in the game and they whip it back into shape. I don't see them getting. I just don't see them winning. But really, if they can get their head in the game, then I can see them getting to the Final Four. But really, I don't see that happening. And another thing is that the Phillies are going to be one of the best in their division this year. It's hard to say, because the Mets signed a lot of really good people this year in their division. So it's kind of up in the air as of right now, which I would probably have to say false at this point in time. Because if you look at what they're saying about the Mets, they are doing very well. I think that the Mets will probably not take it all. They could take it all, but I don't think they are going to take it all. So really, that's about it. It's a short segment, but I'm going to get back into it. So now rolling into Philly Sports Shenanigans with JLash next. Welcome to Philly Sports Shenanigans with JLash. I'm your host, Jackson Lasher, of course. But Phillies, they got rid of Dog Night. How do they do that to the fans? I don't like that. I don't like that. All right. Look, they shouldn't do that to the fans. The fans are, I get it. Philly sports fans are very rowdy, but they were only rowdy that one game because they were losing. Why were they losing? I don't know. Probably because they weren't doing good for one game, but they still banned Dog Night. So now they have like 2-for-1 hot dog or something like that. Come on, the dollar dog night was the best thing ever. You saw people just buying hot dogs, buying, and like it was just you just stuffed yourself full of hot dogs. So, like, yeah, I didn't do that because it's too unhealthy. But really, they should bring back the dollar dog night. At least convince them. All right, like they should just give it a try. But really, that's about it for this segment. So now let me take you to the next part. And that is about it for this episode of the JLash Show. Some events coming up. HHTV is having Under the Hat tomorrow. I'm doing camera for it at 11 o'clock. So make sure to watch the HHTV Under the Hat episode. And I'm going to try and get a few episodes out at least per week, probably 2 a week. So that's kind of my goal. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Follow my social media platforms. And if you want to become a guest, hop on to the JLashShow.com, which is my website. You can sign up to be a guest there. So that's about it. Have a good day, JLash Show Nation.